Welcome to Players Only, your backstage pass to today's PC and video game industry. I'm Scott Steinberg, and this week we're exploring the industry's hottest trend, women's increasing interest in the field. Co-host Casey Young and I find out why today more than ever, girls just want to have fun.
Women have now grown up in the age of Nintendo and the age of, Colegos and Ataris and arcades and find this is a great way to express themselves, to spend some time, to entertain, and so I think it's just one of those things that's become mass market and not focused in any one demographic any longer.
A lot of people always say that to me. There's more and more women in the business. As far as I'm concerned, there's been a lot of great women in this business from as long as I've been in the business. So yes, I think that there are more girls. The business is becoming more mainstream. More girls are playing games. It makes sense that eventually they're going to start producing them and developing them and reporting on them and writing them, and girls kick ass.
There are a lot of women. I'm running into so many female clans right now. Like, I'll jump online and I'll full clan of females and they'll just dominate, which isn't a bad thing.
So you like female domination?
I love female domination. It's fantastic.
I don't know if more women are playing games or if there is maybe a bigger focus on the fact that women play video games. I guess, compared to the 70s and early 80s, more women are perhaps playing video games. But when I talk to people, I often find that, just as many women I talk to who grew up during that time period were playing video games too. Maybe they weren't as vocal about it. And maybe, I hate to say it's more acceptable now because I can't imagine it was ever unacceptable. But I think maybe it's the industry sort of refocusing on the fact that suddenly they've discovered, hey, we can make games that might appeal to a different audience.
It's one thing to want to make games that appeal to a larger audience, but why haven't we seen more of this in the past?
I think that games still don't appeal very well to women. I think you are seeing a general desire from women to want to play games, but I think most games on the market don't do a good job of appealing to them. We don't have a lot of women game developers. I'm a guy and I would love to make games that are more appealing to women, but it's not intuitive to me.
We ran a survey and we found out that the video game industry is such a male-predominated field that women are almost afraid to pursue careers in video game design and production. And so what we found from our survey was that we needed to enable women to learn how to make a video game with the hopes that someday there'll be more video games that women are going to want to play.
I think women are starting to realize that they have a lot to offer. They're just as smart as men. And they can do all the other things. They can be programmers, they can be artists, they can be producers, they are organized, and they are with it. And so we have a lot to offer. And as far as the games go, I think we're going to see a lot more women that aren't being the damsels in distress, but they are the ones kicking ass.
It parallels the movie industry. If you look at the movie industry in the early 30s, you had a lot of technical people and it was sort of dominated by men. But once it became more mainstream, as video games are becoming more mainstream now, more and more women want to participate, and you get a lot of, I know at Silicon Knights there's a lot of female artists, a lot of female producers, some female programmers with computer science degrees. So you get this sort of, as the industry matures, more women are coming over, and I think it's really healthy for the industry.
So, one of the things that we're really trying to do at Blizzard, and I think as an industry, is trying to find more women that are interested in this as a career. And once you see that start to happen, I think you're going to see an increasing amount of games that appeal to women.
Interesting point. However, what type of games are women really looking for?
We've got this sort of queer notion that casual equates with women and core equates with men, and so we don't necessarily apply the lessons we've learned in creating core games to the women, to the games that we create for women, and vice versa. When in reality, we should just be looking at games as a spectrum, a continuum.
What sort of titles have the most cross-gender appeal? I believe it really depends on the person. Honestly, I don't know that it necessarily is a gender issue. I know a lot of women who really enjoy playing shooters and get downright aggressive about it, actually. And I know a lot of males that like to play casual games and, Animal Crossing, and Dolly Dress Up, you name it. It's like, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on if you have a fun game, people want to play it.
Well, I'm playing FPS games mostly. Counter-Strike is my game. That's what I play with PMS. We compete 5 versus 5. We get online. Every night we have practice. For 2 hours we have scrims where you have 5 versus 5.
and things like that. And just people online, people in, real life. We go out to tournaments. It's a lot of fun.
And what about you?
I actually the console girl here. I'm the only one awkward, but everybody's a PC gamer and console, and I'm the only one playing console playing. I play actually Call of Duty 4 and Gears of War.
Well, I think that, a lot of girl gamers definitely get started with the Nintendo Wii. That has gotten a lot of girls back into gaming, maybe that played the original Nintendo when they were growing up. But I know a lot of my friends, too, that are into, the BioShock and the Halo 3, and they're really trying to play with their boyfriends. I've always been a big fan of sports games, SSX Tricky and basketball, all those types of good games. So I think that girls play all sorts of different games. You can't stereotype.
Ah, yes. Stereotypes. They do seem to haunt gamers. But some would say there's an easy way to dispel them.
Diversity in game playing audience is important because the media of game playing is as rich and broad as anything else, right? As TV, as films, and the more kind of different games, the different styles that we have, the more people are going to find it an excellent way to, again, spend their time to connect with others.
We're going to keep creating this herd of games, which keeps costing more and more and more and more. We have a bunch of straight white guys creating games for straight white guys. But if we want to get those other markets in, like women, or creating games, like how about having a black character in a game that was not stereotypical? How about that? Like, tell me, if you were Angela Bassett and you wanted to play yourself in a game, go ahead, I'll leave for 5 hours and I'll come back when you tell me who you can play in a game. And I'm not talking about create the custom avatars. There are no black women in games that you could consider to be like a hero. I mean, okay, maybe they're running through games in thongs, and that's just not, that's like practically every woman. But we need to have that kind of diversity of opinion, because that's where we get the really cool innovation. That's where the really fun gameplay comes about.
We're all just gamers and we're all just video game producers. But right now, there are so many more men in this field than there are women.
There are a lot more men right now than women in the industry, but there's plenty of room for growth, and there's certainly plenty of room for other people to come in. If you're smart, if you're talented, if you're dedicated, if you have passion for games, and want to get in there and make great products, then there's a space for you in this industry.
Bottom line, change is good. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week on Players Only.